Hey, so I'll just briefly open this up so I see from some familiar faces, some unfamiliar faces. So I'll just share. I'm Molly from NAMI Marin. And just as a reminder, our virtual learning tables are opportunities for us to hear from local experts and resources about a variety of mental health related topics. So we host some of our valuable, community members and organizations to, deep dive on a topic. We love for you to ask questions and learn as much as possible about their services. So today we're really thrilled to have Laura Taylor here from Side by Side. She is the program director for Side by Side for the TAY Space. And Side by Side operates across the Bay Area, reaching nearly 2,500 children, young adults, family members per year with much needed services related to behavioral and mental health, early intervention in schools, LGBTQIA+ support, transition housing, etc. And TAY Space is a community center for youth ages 16 to 25 who struggle with mental or emotional disorders. So we couldn't be more thrilled to have Laura here to speak more about the Side by Side TAY Center. So Laura, I'll pass it over to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, so nice to see everyone. My name is Laura Taylor. I am the program director of the TAY Side by Side TAY Space. TAY basically means Transitional Age Youth, and that's loosely 16 to, our program serves up until their 26th birthday. I've also asked Lisa to join me, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm one of the peer advocates here at TAY. I've been here for almost 2 years now, so it's been amazing. It's been a great experience for me. Do you want me to start into what I'm doing? Or?
What I think I'm going to do right off the bat, right off the bat, is there any absolutely question somebody wants or something they want to make sure I talk about or we talk about before I move on? So sometimes I know people are like, I really want to know this one thing, so I want to make sure. Okay, great. So I want to give you a little bit of history about, if you're folks that have lived in Marin County for a while, you would have known us as Sunny Hills Services. We've actually been around since 1895. And those of you that live in Marin, if you've ever been to Red Hills Shopping Center, the area behind Red Hills Shop, that's Sunny Hills Services. We rebranded in 2018, but again, we opened in 1895 as an orphanage, actually, in a farm. Fast forward a little bit, in 1965 is when, in response to some of the early child welfare reforms and acts, we opened as a residential treatment center. And when we opened then, it was for 6-year-olds all the way to 18. I actually started working for Sunny Hills in 1995 and supervised their boys adolescent cottage until 2009, which at that point we closed residential. I then went to St. Vincent's School for Boys for 9 years there, worked in their residential program. And then in 2015, Side by Side, Sunny Hills was awarded the FSP, which that means Full Service Partnership contract with the County of Marin for the TAY Space. So I gladly came back to Sunny Hills and we opened that program January 1st, 2015. So just hit our 8th year. So a little bit about our program. There's 2 sides to our program. I'll talk about one part of our program and then I'm going to let Lisa talk about the other. So what our program actually is tasked with doing in Marin County is providing intensive case management services for 28 transitional age youth that have a moderate to severe mental health diagnosis. We also have to serve and serve youth that are underserved, marginalized, and that either are Medi-Cal eligible or don't have any insurance at all. So really our job is finding those youth that don't have a lot of support, that have these significant mental health challenges, and then providing that intensive case management. And when I say that, our focus is more on case management than therapy, which means our job is really to keep them out of the hospital, keep them out of jail, and keep them out of homelessness. Of course, we do therapy. Of course, we do group therapy and family therapy. But what we really want to do is make sure first of all, they have a safe place to live. Second of all, that they have the food that they need. They have clothes. They have, a social kind of connection. And again, that's a big part of our program. We want every youth that walks in the door to know your mental health is this much. All the other stuff that makes you, the things that make you feel good, the art, the music, the working in nature, all of what that piece is really what we really want to fluff up, right? That is what is going to, help that young adult, first of all, be safe, number one priority, and then hopefully have some ability to contribute to the community they live in. That's the purpose. That's the piece that we really want to help. So what is that? Volunteering? Is it going to school? Is it getting a part-time job? So yes, when they first come to our program, we really want to, do a really thorough assessment. And again, definitely assessing the mental health piece, but assessing all the other, how's your physical health? What's your family support look like? What's important to you? So a really, really good solid assessment. And then our team, which, anybody that really knows me knows I'm the one that will yell and scream about it. What an amazing team we really have. I've worked many, many years, and I really think I'm hitting the end of my career with the cream of crop group that I have. So we have Lisa and Alisa, our peer advocates, and that's a very, very, very important and unique kind of staffing stream that is kind of current. And what that is Lisa brings to the table her life, her lived experience. So her connection with the youth, not that all of us that do this work don't have lived experience, because a lot of us are drawn to that work, but in her role, she's really able to sit with that young adult and say, man, I really know what that's like. And these are some of the things that helped me when I was a young adult. So Lisa and Alisa are fabulous peer advocates, and I'm going to really let her talk about the wonderful work she does. And then we have a clinical supervisor, and that's Erica Antonio. She's incredible. I actually stole her from St. Vincent's, truth be told. I did. And then I have two fabulous clinicians, and then I have a psychiatrist and then a physician's assistant. And kind of what the FSP model is everything that youth needs is here in this building. They're therapists, getting food, social connections, therapy. So it makes it easy for our young adults. A lot of our youth come pretty disorganized. So knowing that they can come one place for we're the one-stop shopping business. So they can come one place. And because we kind of are a small group, we're kind of up in everybody's business. So we all know everything. So any youth can walk in the door and know that absolutely one of us knows what's going on and can help and talk with them. We kind of call it the circle of care. here so that everybody is involved in everybody's treatment. So that's, kind of what our team looks like. And then I'm just going to talk real briefly, and I'm going to let Lisa talk for a little bit, and then I can bounce back to me for a little bit in questions. So how do we get our young adults? Well, first of all, we have the only drop-in center in Marin County. So any youth in Marin can come drop in to the drop-in center for help and support and the wonderful activities that we do. But to be a part of our program, our full service partnership, they have to go through the access team. So I don't know if folks are familiar with that. In Marin County, yeah, that's kind of our dashboard. They're where everybody kind of goes for the assessment, and then access goes, oh, you make sense for Laura's team, or you make sense for the Hope team, which are older adults, or, so that's kind of how they're placed. So they do a really good assessment. And then the young adults come to us. And again, our program can serve 16 to 26. Honestly, we don't see a lot of 16-year-olds because usually at that age, they're getting a lot of support from their school, whether it be, school counseling or so. In fact, our median age last year was 22 and a half years. So that we kind of, because, at 18, if you've had, I raised 3 sons, and they kind of hit 18 and they're like, yeah, I got it all. I know how to do this. And then they go out and it's harder than they think it is. So kind of right around 20, we see youth really going, hey man, I need some help. We're a completely volunteer program. And because I only have those 27 slots, I really want to make sure we're serving the youth that really want the help. And so we try not to chase youth. We get youth that their parents want it, probation wants it, but they really don't want it. And we find, that we're happy to support the youth, but really the youth that benefit from our program are the youth that say, man, I cannot keep a job. I can't get out of bed. The smoking pot I do every day is really impacting my abilities. There isn't another really good thing about a program is it's not time limited, except for their 26th birthday. Then we have to kind of move them over to the adult side of BHRS. So we have youth that come in, they get stable, they meet their goals, and they're gone in 8 months. We have other youth we have one young man, we started working with him at 17, is a significant diagnosis of schizophrenia. He lives in supportive care. We will stay with this young man until his 26th birthday. So again, we have a variety of youth that it's not time limited. Another thing that we kind of found a couple of years into our program was that we had a lot of youth coming back, right? So we want to graduate them when they're doing this, right? When they're hitting their peak. But as we know, with mental health, it ebbs and flows. So any youth at any point after they've left our program, if they say, hey, I want back, we absolutely will take any youth back. Sometimes it gets us a little over a limit, but it really doesn't make sense for that youth that wants to come back to us, that knows us, that trusts us, that we have that relationship, for them to kind of start anywhere else. So I would say that the number one thing that our youth need support with outside of, stabilizing the mental health, because we do get a lot of youth that come, maybe right out of the hospital, are in the hospital, are in that crisis. And then really the next thing is housing. If folks live here in Marin, we all know how expensive it is to live in Marin. Imagine, the 19-year-old that can't keep a job, that doesn't have Social Security, that parents said, I'm done, you need to get out, and then has, these challenging these challenges. So one of the things we really try really hard is to, get that safe place to live. Because I mean, the reality is, if you don't know where you're laying your head tonight, getting a job, going to school, or anything else really doesn't matter. So again, really getting that stable housing. And we partner with a lot of the housing programs in Marin. A lot of our youth need to live in supportive housing programs, whether that be through Homeward Bound or Buckaloo or, Marin Housing. So again, we partner with everyone, quite frankly. We'll partner with everybody to get, food, housing, clothes, all kinds of support for our youth. So I've talked a lot. Folks that really know me know I could talk a lot more, but I'm going to take a little breath right now and turn it over to Lisa. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about kind of what we do in our drop-in center and how that works.
All righty. So yes, my main job is kind of to maintain our drop-in center. So that is open Tuesday through Friday, 12 to 4. And our main goal is to just build this safe, comfortable, easygoing, respectful environment for our youth that are coming in. Like Laura said, we get youth from all sorts of backgrounds, homelessness, unstable backgrounds. So having that safe environment for our youth is like the most important thing to us. And the consistency too. So we meet all the time and we're like, hey, what can we change? We also talk to our youth, what can we change here in drop-in? What would you like to see more often? So that's a really main goal, that we're the first face that they see coming into that door. And to see a happy face comforts them with everything that they have going on. So a little bit of things that we have here at the drop-in, we have computers. So a lot of the youth can use those computers to access job applications, if they need help with resumes, if they need help with a license application. So we have that for the youth to come in, and we support them in that too. So if they need help with it, we're there to walk them through those steps as well. We have youth that really just want to come in and sit, because it is a very comfortable setting. They just want to sit and watch Netflix, and that's totally fine. We have Xbox, we have Wii, we have a ping pong table. So just a variety of different things that the youth can do if they don't want to join in on our calendar events, which I'll speak on a little bit later. Also, we have art almost every single day. We have so many youth that are so gifted in art that they just come in and just make masterpieces. And it's really cool to see. So we have that out all the time. If a youth just wants to sit and do art, that's totally fine. So yeah, the main thing is just to keep it very easygoing for our youth, also really respectful. So we are teaching them to communicate, to use your words, to be respectful of everyone around you on a day-to-day basis. Speaking of calendar, we do have a calendar. I'm in charge of doing the calendar every single month. And I think we got it down to balancing it out. So we do have independent living skills that we put on there. And that can be anywhere from what are boundaries, what are safe boundaries, how do you communicate, the positives of sleep. So we do like to incorporate that into our calendar for our youth, because a lot of them don't know, they're not taught that, right? I mean, I was never taught that. And so having a place where you can come and learn that is just amazing. We also have cooking almost every Wednesday. So I thought of this idea, I think like 2 months ago, and I was like, you know what? A lot of the youth either don't have the money to get the food that they need, to eat. And so having recipes that are so simple, not expensive, and they can be like, I made that at TAY. I know exactly what I need. I can afford it. I can remember it. It's 3 ingredients. So we've done guacamole making, which is super easy. They loved it. We have youth that actually join in and make their own recipe of guacamole. So it's very, it's everyone loves it. We're doing Nacho Day tomorrow. So I just think of fun little cooking activities for the youth that they can easily do at home or wherever they are. We do healthy stuff too. So we're doing, I'm hoping to do an acai, is that how you say it? An acai bowl. We do smoothies. So just a bunch of little things that they can join in on as well. We also, speaking of food, we also do provide food for our youth. So every single time they walk through the door, our first question almost all the time is, when was the last time you ate? So that is the most important question, I feel like, because a lot of the youth are either too nervous, too shy to say, you know what, I don't have any food, I haven't eaten today. So we do like to ask that, and we do provide our food here at TAY. We can make them, you know, pretty much anything, sandwich wise, quesadilla, you name it, we have it. And we are lucky enough to have on Wednesdays food delivered here by Extra Foods. So that is a community-based provider that brings food to us that's just extra from grocery stores that we, you know, are fortunate to receive. And so we do give that out to our youth as well. And I missed something else about the calendar, which I love. We do a big outing for our calendar, one outing a month. And so I know in the past you guys have gone to the water park, which sounds super fun. You guys have done Muir Woods. We're going to the Academy of Sciences this upcoming week or next week. So it gives the youth, you know, that don't have that transportation, the means, the money, everything, that they can sign up and be like, that's what I'm looking forward to this month. So we do like to put that on there. It changes every single month, but we do like to balance out our calendar. So it's, you know, they're learning stuff too, and they're also having a lot of fun. We go to the swimming pool, we do a lot of fun things. So working really hard on the calendar for the youth to also be involved in it more. So I talked about the food that we get provided here from Extra Foods. And we also have different community-based options for food too for the youth. So we always like to share with them, hey, if you're running low on food, we have different places in Marin where you can go and receive food for free. So a couple ones just off the top of my head are the St. Vincent's, that's down on by 4th Street. They give out sack lunch there, I think every day, certain times they change. Also found out College of Marin does give out bagged lunch too. So we have a handful of youth that are in school right now. So they do benefit from that. And yes, and also there's free community fridges. So they're scattered around in Marin, and they're just fridges that donations go into. So we also let our youth know that too. Say, if you're in this area, check out the fridge, check and see if there's fresh fruit. There usually always is something healthy in there for them to grab. So we do like to give all those resources out to our youth so that they, you know, if we are closed on the weekend, they do have that option as well. Another thing that is so great, we have Cake for Kids. So it's a volunteer, what is it? A
volunteer group in Marin of bakers.
Yeah, and which is super cool. So we reach out to them. We just email them every single month, and we say, you know, this is the youth that's having a birthday. You know, what flavor? What, I mean, everything, decorations, incredible flavor, and you know, it's so sweet to see the youth because a lot of them don't ever get birthday cakes, right? So it's just a really heartwarming thing to see, and super thoughtful. So we order them every single month for the youth that have birthdays that month, and they get delivered here, and we celebrate with them here. We also hand out gift cards for birthdays as well. So we try to incorporate, we do a lot of gift cards here. We love gift cards. So we do gift cards for birthdays. We do gift cards for raffles. Our raffles happen every single last day of the month, every single month. So we pick 2 to 3 winners, and kind of the way it works is if you come into the drop-in, that's kind of the incentive. Hey, you came in, you can put your name in the raffle. So it gives them that incentive to come back and come back and come back. Sometimes we pull the same name 3 times, but so we do that. for the calendar as well as goal setting and raffle. That's our last day of the month. And we kind of like that to restart, refresh, and let's start another month together. So let me look at my notes. We also are fortunate enough to have local restaurants donate to us. So in the past, we have had Soul Food donate to us, and this is for special occasions. So if we're celebrating Cinco de Mayo, or we're celebrating, you know, a graduation for a youth, really anything that we celebrate, we try to reach out to our community, and they've been super gracious in donating to us. So Soul Food is one of them, Michael's Sourdough, which is my favorite, and Joe's Restaurant. Those are kind of the top ones that have donated to us, and the youth have been over the moon about it. You know, amazing, delicious food that we have been given. Some other things for holidays and stuff, we do like to be very hands-on during that time. So Thanksgiving, I wasn't a part of TAY yet, but I heard that you do like a huge feast and bring all the youth together. Again, a lot of the youth don't have that family around them. A lot of them don't have family, you know, in the area, or, you know, so it's really nice to give the youth that space to be with people that really care about them during the holidays. Because like I've seen firsthand, holidays are really hard for everyone. So being with people that care about you, support you, and enjoying a nice Thanksgiving is wonderful. So we do like to do that. If they don't want to join, we've done in the past where we've given them a gift card for groceries, and they can, you know, we can go with them and go pick out some food. Just to have a warm meal on that day is really what counts and what matters the most. We also do a Christmas donation store. So it's our big Christmas store that we have around Christmas time. And we shut the drop-in down, we shut TAY down pretty much. And we have a store. So everything's donated to us. And we invite everyone to come, and it's a store where you can just shop for your loved ones, and everything's free. So you don't have to stress about money, you don't have to stress about time. It's all in one area. We have so many different things, from purses to makeup to clothes to socks, like anything you could think of. Really nice gifts too. So electronics we get gifted to us as well, or donated to us. So it's a really nice time for the youth to really just, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for the youth, you know, and any holiday is stressful. So having that time to just relax and pick out your gifts for your family is what we love to see. So that's a really special time for everyone. And the youth bring their families, their kids, their grandparents, and they enjoy it. We have food. So it's a really nice time. So do you have anything else to add to the Christmas story?
No, but so this is where I'll give my pitch. When you're doing that, cleaning out that drawer, and you pull out that candle that you get that you're never going to light and you don't know what to do with it,
We'll take it.
bring it to TAY. We have a nice storage area, and again, like, we put everything out, and it's all our old youth come back, and we have wrapping paper, and so keep that in mind. And we absolutely love visitors at TAY Space. You don't need to call. You can drop by. You can bring anybody by. We're on B Street, right by Lincoln. Feel free to drop by anytime and really take a look and see who we are and what we do. And if if you have a donation, we have, I'm going to let Lisa to also talk about it. We have an apartment. So we always need silverware. We always need pots and pans. We always need, kinds of kitchen things. And then when our youth may be fortunate to have their own place. So we love all kinds of different donations. Definitely feel free to reach out to us at any time or drop in and say hi. I'm going to let Lisa talk a little bit about the apartment, then we'll take some questions and wrap up.
Alrighty. Yes, so we were fortunate enough to have a 2-bedroom apartment that we rent out. And kind of how it works is we pick 2 youth that we have known for at least 6 months. And we build that trust, we get to know them as a person, you know, kind of where their mental state is, are they on medication, how's that going? Just get to know them before we say yes or no to them moving into their apartment. And so we pick 2 youth and they live there. So it's kind of like their beginning steps of living on their own. And I have been kind of in charge of it for the last couple months, and it's been amazing to see some of the youth that have, you know, lived there and then also moved out, and just see the growth between, they're usually there for about a year, and just see the growth that they do throughout that year. And it's bumpy for sure. That's how it is when you're living on your own. But there's a lot of lessons that they learn, a lot of support that I give, cleaning wise, communication wise. I mean, this is the first time that they're living with somebody else. So communication is probably the biggest one that they're having to learn right now. So I'm just there to support them. I'm there to basically keep them on track with their living situation. Some of the other guidelines that they have to follow are you have to either be working full-time or you have to be in school full-time. So that's been a struggle in the past, but we definitely have gotten into a groove of things where the youth do know, hey, I need to be working, or I need to have a full-time job or going to school. So oh yeah, and we don't charge them the whole amount. We charge them only like $200 a month, but that then is kept till the end of the year, and they're given that at the very end of the year. So all that money that they've been paying rent on time, the correct amount, you know, staying on top of that, they get all that money back. So then when they want to move out, they're ready and they have a good chunk of money to like go do whatever their next steps are. You know, it's a really cool experience for me because I also one-on-one get to meet with them. So I've been doing a lot of, you know, helping them sort different situations out. So a lot of them are opposite people, right? You can't move in with the person that's exactly like you. So I've always had to say that no one's ever going to be just like you. We got to figure this out. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it through. What can we do? But it's been really cool teaching them, you know, and supporting them throughout this process. And it's just going to make them that much better and more prepared for the real world, paying your bills on time. We've had conversations with multiple youth. Hey, you're late, you know, you're gonna have to pay more, but they don't pay more. But, you know, just saying those things, because then they're gonna be even that much more prepared for what's to come. So that's been kind of my, one of my highlights of this job is also being one-on-one with the youth that are trying to maintain their life on the outside. So yeah, I think I've kind of gone through everything.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yay.
To you.
Okay. I you know, like to kind of pause now and see if there's any questions, comments, feedback. Yes, Amy.
Hi, I think Laura, I heard you speak to NAMI a number of years ago before lockdown and so forth. I'm one of the volunteers on the NAMI helpline, and you know, I want to send everyone to you, but that doesn't work. It's not how it works. So one of my questions, I just want to confirm one of the first things you said, which was anyone can drop in, but the way that people get to us is really through the access line. So is it both?
So, you know, great. And thanks for bringing that up, Amy, because I think that's one of the hardest things for folks. I get a lot of calls from folks that, you know, want our help, but, you know, may not for a lot of reasons. A lot of our, you know, the access team is located, you know, right next to Unit A and Marin General. Most of our youth do not want to go there for an assessment. So, you know, I know the access team, they will come to the TAY office and actually do the assessment here. So let's say we have, you know, a youth walks in the door and, you know, says, hey, man, I really need help. And what one of us will do is kind of, we sit down and go, hey, you know, as Lisa say, can we get you something to eat? You want something to drink? Kind of what's going on. And we initially can do that initial assessment. Like, you know, and you know, our laws, thank goodness, you know, Medi-Cal has really shifted the focus. And you know what Medi-Cal says right now is there are no wrong doors for accessing mental health. None. You cannot be turned away by anybody. So what we do is really kind of talk to that. What's the best place for you? Because our program is so intense, they may not need our intensive. They may say, gee, I just want to, you know, I'd love to have a case manager and maybe I don't want to take medication. Or man, I just really need housing support. So, you know, we didn't always have to go through access, and you will hear me say to everyone, not going to access is not going to be a barrier for you not getting in our program. We'll figure it out. You know, we will figure out a way to get you whatever you need, however that looks. You know, we can independently do the assessment ourselves, but then I would call access team up and the supervisor, hey, this is Laura. And a lot of times when the youth will come and I give them the information for access, because I have parents call, counselors call, I'll give them the information for access. And then I'll say, hey, Bobby, do you mind if I call access and let them know you're going to come by? And then I'll call and say, hey, I'm sending this youth over. We think that'd be really great for our program, and kind of make that a little transition. And some youth come to the drop-in center and they go, no, I just want to come to the drop-in center. And then 3 months later, they get to know us a little bit and they go, hey, you know, I think maybe I could use this extra level of support.
So Laura, do you think that we should tell parents to reach out to you, even if they don't have a case manager, even if they don't have an access, or you know, maybe they do have some relationship with access, but once they've gotten out of the hospital, they're out of there.
Always call, yeah, always, yeah. Great question, Amy. Always call us.
Okay.
We will help navigate that all.
Thank you.
And it's daunting. As you know, to access the services, sometimes I struggle to do it for my youth. So imagine that youth, you know, and the other thing, they make the call and it's a voicemail. You never are going to get somebody pick up the phone and say, hi, yes, this is access. So what does the youth do? They call once and they never call back again. And when access calls you, it's a private number. So how many of us pick up that private number? I do during work, but the majority of the time, so our youth are really never going to pick up that phone. So a lot of time I'll do backdoor kind of things and call and say, you give me 3 appointments and then I'll make sure we get the youth to you.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
I actually had a question. So you mentioned this apartment living or this housing for a couple individuals. I may have missed it, but how long are those individuals typically living there, and how often can people apply, or how many people can you house at one time?
Great question. We can house up to 3, but 3 is not a good number. It just, you know, it's one of those weird, it's a shared living room. When COVID kind of hit, it just got to be impossible to do that shared, all of the housing programs, we just couldn't pull it off. So 2 is our really good number. And there is no staff that live there. They live in a regular apartment building with somebody up above them, somebody on either side of them. So, and I have to say, this is, it was a huge learning curve at first, because you really have to make sure the right folks are in there. You can't have someone who's actively suicide, right? We have a no visitor policy because when we first started the apartment, all the visitors, we had domestic violence, we had thief, we had, I mean, so, and, you know, one of the youth said to me one time, you know, this is the first time I've ever had a safe place to live. And I went, oh, okay, this is only your space. Now, do we know it's important for them to have friends? Of course, but we don't want them to have to worry about, like, you know, whose boyfriend's coming over or who's taking, you know, so it's really for just the youth that live there. You know, it's, when they move in, what we don't really want to say is, okay, now you have to be out in a year, because right away, then they kind of start going, uh-oh, now I got to be out. So what we say to them is the average stay is around a year. At one point, we had a youth that stayed there for 2.5 years. We didn't have any other really good candidates. And he, you know, was not documented. So it's really hard to find housing for undocumented youth. And he was working, he ended up moving to Colorado, was granted asylum, you know, one of those, everything worked out great. We've had a youth move in and then move out 5 months later. So again, I think I did the average stay was 1 year and 6 months, so about 1.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we have two young men right now. Our program, generally we have more youth that identify as male in our program. Tends to be, I have some of the demographics here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and where can we go to find your most up-to-date like events calendar, or is that something you publish or send out?
Yes, it's on our website. So if you go to you know, www.sidebysideyouth.org, it will literally tell you all of our programs, our calendar. It also has some amazing videos from our youth about their experience. Whether it be our school or our East Bay programs. But you know, our website, I love our website because it has some really, really great information. I will, it looks like the latest calendar didn't get posted, but also one of the things Lisa does every single month at the beginning of the month, she sends it to every youth. We probably have 65, 70 providers on it. So if you want us to send it to you every single month, you can, you know, jot it down in the chat room. Lisa will take it down. We send it to all the parents of our folks. Yes, we do have a phone number on our website, and I'm happy to give it to you now too, if it makes it easier for you, Amy. I can, we have an office number, and then there's my number. I'm not available 24 hours, but because of the apartment, I have my phone 24 hours, just in case something happens with that. But our office number is 415-870-9298. And again, all of that is on our, if you go on our website, you can hit Marin and all the Marin programs will come up. Wow.
Right, that's
Pretty
amazing.
good.
Yeah, so much information right within the hour. Fantastic timing. And yeah, I just want to make sure, is there anyone else on the call with questions, comments, any other information that you'd like about Side by Side? Barbara, I see you raising your hand.
I am Barbara, and I'm one of the helpline volunteers too. And on the housing, I just want to get this straight. I know you have the apartment for 2 people, and then if you can't house them there, you refer them to other housing sources. That's one of my questions. I had somebody today on the helpline looking for housing and was trying to figure out, you know, what resources to give them. And then the second one is, I know it's for youth up through 26. What happens if they're with you at 26? You know, do you refer them somewhere else, or what happens there when they turn 27?
Great question. What we do at age, it has to be on their 26th birthday. They're referred to, what we refer them to, the Bridge Full Service Partnership of Marin. So that's for adults, like, and it's still a full service partnership kind of model. So they get, you know, the therapist, they get this, you know, as medication and psychiatric support. So again, we start this process many months in advance. We do a warm handoff. We talk about it. But one of our, I think he's left. We have a youth who graduated 3 years ago. He comes every single day to drop in. And
He
we're
feels
fine. You know,
comfortable.
I don't, you know, in that age range, we had one, you know, for a year, we had a 16-year-old girl from Jamaica and her 11-year-old sister, and their mother had schizophrenia and lived in one of the housing programs here in Marin, and the uncle had brought them from Jamaica. Well, they had no one. So every day, the 16-year-old would pick up her 11-year-old sister and they would come to TAY.
Wow.
And, you know, there wasn't a part of me that could say, you could come. So we would say, okay, everything's PG-13 now. And, you know, we would work with the group that we had to make sure, you know, when she would do art, and, you know, we had a family adopt them for Christmas and bought jackets. She went on to play basketball at San Rafael High, T&B Sports, donated shoes. So, you know, I had one gentleman that was 35 years. When we first opened, we had popcorn and movie day, and my staff put a big sign outside that said popcorn and movie.
Whoa.
And it's when we were over on B Street, literally every single homeless person came walking across the street for the movie and popcorn day. So Dario and I had a good laugh. So we made a bunch of popcorn and drinks. And so, you know, we learned a lot of lessons, right, as we do these jobs. And so, you know, we don't ask anybody for ID. We don't ask anybody for their name. They can sign in if they want. They don't have to sign in. So that's a little bit about the age piece. And then housing, Barbara, you know, the reality is the only homeless shelter in Marin County is Jonathan's Place, the old Mill Street through Homeward Bound.
Right.
And I don't know if folks have been there. They did an amazing job rebuilding that, but it's hard to get in.
Yeah.
If you're a provider, we have the ability to do a referral directly. And I'll be honest with you, we get denied all the time too. There's not enough beds for the need.
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean the youth that walks in the door, and we'll be honest with you, we give them blankets, we give them pillows, we give them, you know, a million ponchos in the weather. We're also connected when there is a weather alert. They do open shelters.
Right.
So, you know, we make sure it's the great thing about, you know, tech now, we can blast emails to everybody, like they're opening the shelter at the Presbyterian Church or over at Kerner. But, you know, if they're in our program, I can use Hamilton Meadows. I can use Marin Housing Authority. I can use Casa Buena. I can use their, you know, the RSSs, the mail programs. They just opened Grand Avenue. That's another fabulous new program. And that's a step down from the hospital. So that's a very high level of care.
Got it.
So we are connected, and you know, I will sit and be a part of every single housing committee there is in Marin County, because that is such a big need. So I feel too, at 8 years, we have a pretty good connection. If you ever get anybody to Barbara that you want that help with, you definitely send them to us, and we'll figure out, you know, what we can do. Also, home match. If folks don't know about that, that's another excellent one. It takes sometimes seniors that say, hey, I have an extra room, but I want someone that will mow my lawn, take the trash out and do marketing for me once a month. I'll only charge them $500. So we partner with the home match folks.
Great.
We'll help them look on Craigslist. We'll try to find, Wednesday's gift to see if we can get a one-time thing for rental assistance. So.
Great. That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
I will refer people to you for
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
Great. All right.
Okay.
Last call for any additional questions here. I'll just say thank you again so much to Laura and Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing more about yourselves, the resources you provide, the center. It sounds like an absolutely amazing resource for our youth in Marin County. So we're very grateful for the work that you do. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, and
Thank you.
don't forget about us at the holiday time. Come drop that lavender candle off that you don't want.
We will.
Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.